Now you should be able to hear me. Let's make sure we're streaming. Alright, so, what is this? Let me just minimize this so you can see the background. Hello. Hello. Can you please minimize? Whatever. Okay, there we go. So, check this out. This is a theater room I created in Roblox Studio for a video for my group, Roblox Master Builders. Now, it might seem completely unrelated to the title of this stream, but I promise you it's all related. So, as you know, I'm a game developer, and I primarily make things on Roblox. It's something that most people wouldn't consider to be related relatable to, like, you know, just like your average working adult. It's like a kid's thing, right? Well, with the world being turned upside down with, you know, an epidemic and whatnot, we're doing a lot of stuff at home. Oh, sorry, I need to clear my voice. One of those things, crazy enough, crazy as it is, might happen to be graduations for schools. Now, bear with me, that might sound really crazy, but while things have opened up a little bit, it is possible that some schools may be choosing to still do graduation events online. And if that is the case, rather than only having a Zoom room where all the students sit and are shown on screen, we could have an accompanying, this is an idea I just came up with, an accompanying 3D environment where they can actually stand and walk with their avatars. Now, this isn't exactly what it would look like, but this is something I created for, you know, a video recently, and it's a good thing to show as an idea of what I'd be creating. I would make it a little bit more detailed, but here's my idea. My idea is to create like a dozen different graduation halls, large and small, just of different styles, and then create a free game with free private servers and then an instruction video where school officials, like the principal or whoever happens to be hosting the event, can start that private server, choose a location, and then send that private link to their students, who can then come into the game ahead of time, and then we'll have morphs so that if they don't already have Roblox account, they can morph their default avatar into something that looks like a graduating student, and then we can have this visual experience alongside the the Zoom call is most likely what they'll be using, and where they can hear the voice of the school official, but they can also be here physically. And I'll have some scripters help me to create a control panel so that the school officials can turn off the chat when the event starts. Maybe even I'm considering even making a mechanic where they can lock people in their seats and then unlock certain people if it's time for them to come up. That only would be necessary if the students aren't well behaved. We don't want them jumping around, but to provide a good selection of graduation halls that are high quality, like I'll make like wood boards on the ceiling, like nice materials. Like, this is very simple. I didn't spend a long time making this. Literally, there's only 2 unique assets. There's the chair, which I cloned a bunch of times, and then there's the light fixture. But with this, I would, and I didn't make this speaker, I pulled out of the box. But with this, I'll be making a bunch of things that people can go ahead and use. And I just want to provide a resource. It just came into my head as an idea of a resource that could be provided to school executives who are like, man, this is a really lackluster way to have a graduation, and now we could actually have it be like cool, and then maybe even script in a music mechanic where I don't know what what people play, but they could the executives could play Pomp and Circumstance. I don't know, is that something common you play at a graduation? And it might be crazy to think, oh, we're having a graduation on Roblox, but this is where I got the idea. Actually, it was last year when I saw a tweet. I randomly, so I used to get on Twitter a lot and just like search like Roblox hashtags and find like tweets that I could, support people, like give them tips and stuff. And I found some random person who used the Roblox hashtag, some random girl who wasn't even interested in Roblox, and tweeted saying that her school was graduating them on Roblox. I'm like, what? What is the world coming to? But I thought, why don't we actually make this real? This is something we could actually take seriously, because while this, what you see before you, is semi-high quality, it needs to be a lot higher quality. And I can make something much more detailed than this and with better lighting. But this is just a really quick thing for a video background. But to think that Roblox has come to a point where people are actually considering using it as a graduation medium, I'm like, bruh, like, I'm totally going to take advantage of this and use this as an opportunity to give an opportunity to like school principals and whatever the executive officers are called, and give them a chance to, provide a higher quality graduation experience for their students. So the idea is that they have the students come into the 3D environment while also being on a Zoom call, and that way they can be in a physical environment together. It's not literally physical, but it feels like a physical environment, and I think it's superior to just being in a Zoom call. So that's my introduction. That's all the context. If you send this to your school executives, they can contact me just on Discord or Twitter, or leave a comment. And I will be releasing more information about this if I choose to proceed with this. I am fairly certain I'm proceeding with this. But I want some people's input. See if there's actually a need for this, because I don't want to waste time on something that there's not a need for. I mean, I like building stuff, but I also have Posen to work on, my new series. And I was planning on releasing a Valentine's Day episode, and I didn't get to it. I've been really busy with other editing projects, so this will take quite a bit of time. And I'll probably stream the whole building process, which might be really boring. But gonna build some graduation halls, and this should be pretty fun. Also, I'm gonna look in the chat. Welcome George and Sunrays and Brock. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. This might be fairly boring, but I'm just gonna kind of be planning out and building some graduation halls. I might start really simple, but I want everything to be at the same level of quality. So like, this chair, I should have probably modeled it in Blender. I'm a little bit clumsy in Blender, even though I know how to use it. Just to keep things optimized, it would be best to model a chair in Blender. Now this actually, I could make this itself available for graduations, because this is I counted the seats before. Let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Oh, that's 10, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Oh, so that's 80. That's 160. That's a really small that's a really small graduating class, 160. But if they have a small class, I don't really know how to add more detail to this. I might add like beams in the ceilings or something. Add something. Of course, I'll add doors at the back and different stuff. I'll probably add more detail to the stage, and I'll add a podium. I could make this hall itself available, though. The The only problem is, actually, it's probably not a problem. It's probably well enough optimized, honestly. If I put in meshes, though, that I created in Blender, or if I convert the unions to meshes, it will optimize it more. So it'll make it run better on phones, so what I'm going to be recommending is that the school executives hosting the event run it on spamming in the chat. Honestly, I don't care if he spams, because there's like 3 people here. So what was I saying? It optimizes it more to convert everything into meshes. Is that what I was talking about? Oh, if the school executive joins on PC, so like I'm running a Shadow, which is fairly good specs, but I need to test it on a crappy laptop. And that way I can also test it on mobile, and in that way I'll be able to tell, well, how will this run for the students? And because I can guess that a fair number of the students will be joining on mobile, so we'll need it to be optimized for mobile, and the controls are fairly easy, but the control panel itself won't be operatable on mobile. I'll need some scripters. I don't know if Mr. Tur will have time, but I'll ask him. And that way, they'll have more control. So let's see, what are the controls I'm thinking of? So obviously they enter, and I'll have them spawn into just a lobby. And then the control panel will pop up, and it will give them a menu with images of each hall, and then if they click on it, it'll spawn in that hall, and it will have to put their player in a certain location so that they don't fall through the floor when stuff moves around. And then they can walk around and look at the hall and decide, yeah, I want to use this, or no, I want to look at something else. And then once they've kind of browsed through, then they can, hey, Lemon, they can, once they've kind of browsed through, they can decide a hall. If you're not sure what this is, read the description or skip to the beginning. I give a full explanation. And so then they can walk through and say, hey, and it will have capacity numbers on each thing. It'll say the capacity number, and so they can know, well, I have 2,000 students. I'm going to need a stadium. So that's why I'm telling you I need to optimize it, because if I have 2,000 chairs, I don't know how big is the graduating class. I actually don't even know. They might even have to split it up, but I want to give them the ability to plan it out. And then that way they can pick something based on capacity and style. I want to have a few large ones, a few small ones, a few medium ones. I might end up making about a dozen of these, though. Honestly, I want to keep it fairly simple, keep the options simple, but with the kind of options I'm putting together, there may be like 12 locations. And that will be, all of them will be available for free. There's no paid content in this game, so then they can have their events, not just graduations, though. People could have other kinds of school events, like assemblies, whatnot, and this will be available for elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, even colleges. I'll probably have some outdoor ones, too. So, man, there's a lot to think about here. And then, so the control panel. First, they will the whole control panel will probably be separate from the menu, from the location selection. And the control panel will have a thing where you can turn off bubble chat, classic chat, or both. I'll have a video explaining it so it all makes sense to them. I might have some different lighting modes as well, but I'll need help scripting this because I don't think I'll be able to script it. Also, we have someone else here. We have Rare Dev. Yo, this is cool. Thanks, dude. Yeah, if you're not sure what this is, look in the description. I wrote a description of it. Also, I gave a full explanation at the beginning, and I'm just kind of talking about details right now. I'm not actually building yet, but I'm going to start building in a minute. And I would love your guys' ideas. And honestly, stuff that I need to know is how big is your average graduating class with each type of school? Um, and so, like, say an elementary school, middle school, high school, college, even like a technical college. How I don't know if technical colleges even have graduations, but um, how big would a graduating class be? Because this is only 160 chairs, and that's a really small class. Um, now, people might also be asking the question, and this might not be something you are particularly interested, because you're my audience watching me build, and then the people who would be asking this question are like the parents and school board and whatnot. But how would the parents attend? Well, the answer is all the kids will have a Roblox account. Probably a lot of them will already have one. And then if not, they'll just create a free one. And then they'll be in the physical environment, but only the students and like school staff, if they want to. Like, we only really need one school staff member in here to manage the event, but all the students will be in here physically because they're the ones that the event is featuring. And then the parents can just sit over the shoulder of the child or student. In high school, I wouldn't really call them children. and they can watch the event from behind. And then they'll also, I highly recommend that they also have like a Zoom call, which is probably what most people would be using versus like Skype or a Discord call or Facebook. I don't know. Zoom is the one that has capacity for large numbers of people. So then I imagine they'll have a Zoom call going, and then they'll be on both at the same time. Like, maybe the parent has their device with the Zoom call going, and then the kid has their device, and they're in the Roblox. It's just crazy that we're considering this. That school, I'm pretty sure that school staff are considering doing things like this, because virtual stuff that people called crazy, like not too long ago, is starting to be considered normal because of all the changes and the way that the world works now. The internet was already big, but now everybody is literally on the internet, and it's insane. And I think this is good for Roblox growth as well. Oh, also, if you haven't watched there was an investor meeting for Roblox, which is really interesting. They're now they're having publicly listed stocks now, which is super interesting. And they talked about a lot of interesting stuff there. So should I get building? Oh, there was something else I was thinking about explaining, but I forgot what it was. Anyway, I have an empty project open here. So here, I could just start building whatever. And I think I might try to just build it out of my brain. I don't know. I might want some reference, honestly. Because the truth is, you're always using reference. It's just coming from something that you've memorized or have seen a lot. If it's in your head, it's an image that you've memorized. And if you're using reference like an image, then it's something that, oh boy, I have way too many windows open here. Oh. Okay, so what was I gonna do? Okay. So let me just check this out. Oh boy. Whoa, that's like a city hall or something. That's a lot of chairs. Oh yeah, there was one other thing I was gonna mention, and that is that I'll have morphs. Like, so there'll be like doors. Like, say this is your average graduation hall. There's the main space, and then there's doors, and then out back here, beyond the entrance doors, there's morphs where you can put on a you touch it to put on a graduation gown. So that anyone creating a new Roblox account can doesn't have to look like your average noob. Also, it'll just make the school professionals feel better. And then if they want like a custom uniform, they can pay somebody to make that, or they can pay me to put it in. I don't care. Like, the only reason I would charge for that is just because it takes time. But what I'm doing, I can make for free because I'm making it for as many people as choose to use it, and it's not like custom uniforms or something. Um, but we could have like different colors, so then they can, and that'll be free obviously, because then they can be like, well, our school colors are these, and then we can have like 1 or 2 color designs, and they can, with the control panel, they could even choose what style. We could have a few different styles of uniforms. And if someone has this like wicked cool avatar with like spikes and wings and swords and devil horns, then they can be like, yeah, that's not welcome in the graduation. Even though you're not like the average noob, you look cool. You gotta conform, because that's probably what schools would do. So, what should I build first? I'm thinking about starting with something simple, but this looks epic, and I definitely could do this kind of architecture. With these vaulted arched ceilings. Looks really cool. Those Gothic arches. Multiple levels of arches. This is super cool. I love building this kind of stuff. And I think what I'll do is save this. And I'm going to save this here. I'm just going to save it in there. So, there's that. I let it be known that the source is the University of Adelaide. So, of course, when I use reference, I don't directly copy anything. I just kind of use it as a reference. This is why it's called reference. I can help. Oh, Lemon says he can help. Oh, dude, that would be epic. Are you? Can you script? I forgot. Can you actually script? Because I need some scriptage. I'll do all the building, but I need scripting. Best graduation ever. Yeah, George. It's kind of funny, right? Some school classes are like 10,000 people, says Brock. Whoa! Okay, well, let's simulate this for a minute. Let's say we have 10,000. Actually, let me just look up a... this is crazy. That is crazy. I want them to have the option to have everybody at once. What if we had a mechanic, a hat throwing mechanic? What if we had a hat throwing mechanic? Whoa, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. Have a hat throwing mechanic. I'm gonna download this just so I can remember that. Okay, so let me do stadium. Let's see. I spelled stadium wrong. Whoops. Okay. So, what? What? You expect? Oh, wait. That's not what I clicked on. You expect me to build that? I mean, I could, but it would take forever. And okay, how many players can a server? This might be a terrible idea, guys. This might be the worst idea I've ever had. How many players can a server even have? Also, this is definitely a digitally generated image. Those people look super fake. How many people can a server even hold? I did not even think about this before. What? JPEG? Just download the flippin' image, dude. It's a JPEG. What harm could it possibly do on my computer? Okay. So, I can't tell me what you guys think, because honestly, I don't know. Let's see, classified channel. Do 700 seats instead, because that's the most you can hold in the server. Thank you. Okay, so 700. So classified channel says 700 is the number. It's the max number of players. Is that correct? That's the max number of players in a Roblox server. So if they were to do it... Oh, actually, okay. I think I just solved this problem. There is a way to do this. The way to do this is to have a long graduation event, an ongoing graduation, and then have scheduled times where each player, student comes in. So they post the link, and then they have a schedule, and they have names like A, B, C, like based on last name, and then they're like, and so they have the private server link so that we don't have random players coming into their graduation. That would be completely inappropriate. And and then they would be like, okay, when we get through, so we'll have A through B. I don't know how common last names. We'll have A through D. Okay, let's just say that's how they divide it up based on the number of students. And then you come in, we'll graduate all of you. Because I think that's how they do graduations anyway. It's like you come for yours and then you leave because it's like they're multiple hours long. So that would actually be the way to do it. And thank you for giving me that number. I hope 700 is accurate, but until I prove otherwise, I'm going to just kind of operate on that 700. And we could just take it down to like 500. Let's say they could have 500 at once. We could have 500 as the server capacity limit. But I don't want the server to be lagging, and I would need to test it, and I don't know how to test with 500 players. I don't know how to, because I have 5 people watching my stream. I couldn't just start a stream and be like, yo, I need 500 people to help me test this server and see if we can break it and test it on mobile and make sure it works. And of course, I could have schools give me feedback like, bro, our graduation broke. Your game sucks. And then I'm like, oh, shoot. Well, dang. But that's how they would do it. They would phase in. They have students come and go from the server, so we wouldn't need to have everyone there at once. And that's how they do live graduations anyway, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I did it with my high school graduation. It was very small. It was a little bit different. But I think there were about 500 students. It was a smaller one because it wasn't like your normal high school. Let me see. I'm reading some comments. There would have to be a maximum capacity. Yeah, absolutely. Held by grade or class. Yeah, so they could do it by grade and by last name, so they can group it however they want to, and then they would post a schedule on their website, or I don't know if schools use Discord, but however they communicate, or maybe an email, however they communicate with their students, they could just have a schedule and then have people know when they're supposed to join. And so on the Zoom call, if their Zoom call can handle that many people, I mean, they have to work out that part of it. But they could also have a physical event. I don't know. So it's kind of might be a little bit weird having a physical event. Actually, I could see them doing that. So if they have a physical event with maybe a couple hundred people there in their school hall, then they could project the game screen. They could project the game screen, which means that's another mechanic we need. I'm gonna just open a notepad and start taking notes, because they could have a game screen with the graduation hall on it, and then so we would need some mechanics. We need our hold on, let me just see. We would need a camera mode with multiple angles. Okay, so that's the thing. Oops. Loading mode control. Sorry if this is too small for you to see, but it's like, so I wrote camera mode with multiple angles so that they can, instead of focusing on the school executive's player, they can just focus the camera on like the entire hall or on the stage. And then we've got chat on or off, so that, and then also seat lock if they want it, to lock players in their seats, and then unlock players by username. And they would also need students to submit their username so they know who's who, and make sure they're in there at the right time. That's a lot to manage, and I cannot promise them that I will help manage that. But let me see. Do be warned, it opens a new Roblox Studio application for each individual player. Wait, what? I don't understand what... Wait. Lemon is talking. You can do local server on Roblox Studio. Oh. I don't know how to test it in Roblox Studio with other... Wait, you can do a local server. Oh, so there's a way to test server capacity without having actual real players, like simulated. That's good to know. I would love to hear more about that. Let's see. The stadium in the pictures is realistic, but probably has family members in it. Oh yeah, it's family. We're not gonna have family members. We're only gonna have students in the game. Family members will be watching over their shoulder. Okay, so I need to write down all the mechanics that we're gonna have. So lighting mode control could be different kinds of lights and different kinds of, like they got a spotlight, and then we'd use like you could have different colors. Also, and then we could have uniform customization. And then we could have an option for the school staff to turn on a customization option for the students to use, but I could see that getting really out of hand if students are customizing while they're supposed to. Well, then they could also have the seat lock could also be forced forced participation. So if they're customizing, it'll warn them in 5 minutes the event will start, and then it'll knock them out of their menus and then force them to, so that they're not like walking somewhere else while they're supposed to be sitting down. But we could say if I spell anything wrong, it's just because I'm trying to take notes as customization. Okay, I think that's all we need for now. But honestly, that is pretty crazy. But I don't know if I want to stream the whole building process of this though, because I'm not really good at talking for hours and hours. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure I want to do that. And then it would just be boring just watching me build. I don't know. Some people might dig it. I have a scripter, and I don't know what he does. If I could share it with you, yeah, hook us up. That would be great. We'll talk and see what he can do. Will you explain what it does? It's around 30 lines. What's around 30 lines? The script? I don't have a script yet. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. The biggest limitation I see, says Brock, is that people giving speeches, won't actually face. Okay, that's where the Zoom call comes in. So anyway, they'll have the game and the Zoom call side by side, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Roblox doesn't have a way for me to set up voice, so then they could have a DMs. I'll check that once I stop streaming. But yeah, basically the call would be a replacement for that. So then they'll have the game and the call side by side, for speeches. That's also a good thing to be aware of, and that's something I did think of. Unfortunately, it would have to be pre-made stream or just done in the voice. Okay. Yeah, thanks for all the information, Lemon. I'm going to ask you more about that in a bit, because that sounds like you have some great insights for me. Let's see. Sorry if I missed any comments. There's a lot of comments for 6 people. I love it. Let's see. Do 700 seats. Okay, let's see. Maximum capacity. Imagine bullying your teacher on Roblox. That's funny. Yo, guys, my teacher got Roblox. Yeah, they probably would want teachers in there, huh? So then we could have like special looking uniforms for teachers, or maybe the morphs for the teachers would be taller. I don't know. Let's see. But we don't want everyone looking the same. So having some customization would be good. Like they can select a hairstyle, a hair color, and a face. At least that would be nice, huh? But then the school could select the colors of the uniforms and stuff. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Because a big point of graduation is speeches and performances. Performances. So that's I didn't know that was a part of graduation. Oh well, yeah. I've played in a band that was playing at a graduation, and well, we like played pomp and circumstance. So that's another mechanic I need to add. Um, music board. So that we'll have pre-programmed selected songs that they might want to use, and then also an option to play from an ID. But yeah, anything that can't be in the game environment will have to be done in the it'll have to be done on the Zoom call. Um, and I think that, well, I'm only saying Zoom because that's probably what most people will be using, but they might have other platforms that they're using. But whatever their call is, their video and voice call, that's where all of that other stuff will be. But this basically makes it so you can see everybody there and gives them a place to be. Yeah, high school principals, and then they usually have like some kind of speaker there to give speeches as well. And let's see, what else did big point of graduation speeches. I just think bouncing back and forth between Zoom and yeah, it could be awkward, but doing graduations on the internet is awkward, and this might not be for everybody, but what I want to do, if I do choose to proceed with this and spend the time doing this, if anybody says, like, if school executives contact me and say, dude, I will totally use that, then I'll make it. Because like, even if like 3 like principals tell me, yo, my school needs this, then I will make it just for them, because I want to make a resource that would be helpful for people and give them just like a heightened experience. And it doesn't have to be used by anybody who's not comfortable using it. And it obviously would be up to the school executives, and they might ask their students what they prefer. But and then if enough students in a given school be like, yo, let's have our graduation on Roblox, then well, whoever ends up using it, honestly, I'm cool with that. But nobody's obviously nobody's forced to. Yeah, how would you do that on a phone? Well, the way you would do it is, I would recommend that the students join on a laptop at least, or a desktop computer. But if they join on their phone, then their parent could be in the Zoom call on their device. Because I'm imagining that any kid who only has access to one device probably has a parent who will be attending the graduation with them, sitting with them there in their home. And then any student who doesn't have a parent, like say a college student or even a high school student whose parent won't be attending, perhaps, which I don't know whose parent wouldn't attend a college graduation, but they could just jump on the Zoom call. Yeah, they might have to stream the game screen on the Zoom, which would be interesting. But I could surely consult and help them figure out all those things. Any student who isn't reliant on a parent will probably have 2 devices, or at least they could have 2 windows. Not everybody has a second monitor like I do, but they could at least have their phone screen for the Zoom and then their desktop for the game. Let's see. Talking to Lemon. Please upload paste. Can I paste into? What are you guys talking about? Sure, script. Oh, you're trying to learn how to script. Classified channel. Have you joined Roblox Master Builders yet? It's our Discord server. You can find the link in the links section of my YouTube page. It'll be on. Actually, I'll just show you. If I go to youtube.com/Mr. Kemsaki. Then I go to about, and I hope this doesn't have any private information, right? View email address. Oh, I should put a business email address on here, huh? Let's see. So here's all my links, and then there's the Roblox Master Builders Discord server. There. So join that if you're not in it. So man, this is some complicated stuff. Yeah, should I try to build this on stream? Because anytime I start building, it's probably gonna be really long. Because I can build fast if I know what I'm doing, but it's still a very long process because there's a lot of fixing stuff and changing things and sometimes I have to figure out mechanics. Oh, like if I'm going into Blender to make meshes. Oh, thanks Brock for posting the link there. Um, Lemon, I'm wondering if there's a way to take an in-game camera's view and stream it to a custom website. That would be interesting. But I think the best way to do that would be just to use like the Zoom screen share mechanic, which admittedly isn't amazingly high quality, but it would probably be good enough. Because everybody's kind of forgiving of production quality with the internet of like live events, because not everybody knows how to produce high quality presentations online, especially when you're dealing with a lot of people getting on the internet watching a stream live. This looks cool. There's some guards. This is a track. It looks like field and track, like football, except with the track around the edge. Field and track. Yeah. I mean, I bet a lot of colleges and high schools have a football stadium of one kind or another. I could build something at this scale, and I could visually fill in just blank players or blank, viewers, whatever. But yeah, we would have to have just a very limited, like maybe I could have the upper levels locked off, and then we just have really low res not players, students up in the upper parts, so it's optimized. And then we'd have a zoom lock so they can't zoom out and see the outside because we don't want to have to build all that. I don't know. There's so many decisions. Honestly, if I have some school people like contact me and tell me that this would be valuable for them, then I'd probably be more likely to actually do this. I'm seriously thinking about it though. Yeah, Brock says you could just have the avatars locked in a specific spot and have all their perspectives being screen shared. I don't know how you switch back and forth though. Well, we don't necessarily need the perspective of each student screen shared. We would just need the perspective of the hosting school official, so that they can control the view, and then they can show the entire stadium, and then they can switch to like the stage view and have the student walk up. Actually, here's another thing I just realized, is that students will be walking up in lines, probably, because that's how they do it, right? They call their name. That because the graduation, when I graduated from high school, it was like a homeschool graduation, so like there were probably this many students, and it took forever, but every parent got to give a little speech, like a 5-minute speech. It took forever, but with like a big graduation, nobody does that. So imagine with most of the graduations, you're gonna have lines of students. Because I've also attended a large high school graduation in a stadium where they just had lines and lines of students going through, and they're just calling their name, and there's no speech or anything. There's like a speech for everybody, but there's no speech for any individual students. And they call their name, they get their thing. They call the next name, they get their thing. It's just kind of like that, you know. So imagine. Seating might not even be necessary in some cases if the only people who can be in the server at one time are the ones graduating. That's so much to manage though. Like imagine how much that is to manage. This is like an entire new event management skill, to have people coming in at the right times, making sure all the players are in game. It's like with a physical event, you're just like, everybody show up and be here physically, and then come down when your name is called. But in this case, it's like everybody be here on the Zoom call, and then show up in game when and click on the game link, and then they might have to have like a time buffer for people to get, it's like the people to leave the server and the new people to join. I'm going to make some lunch. DM me when you can. Yes, I will DM you as soon as I stop streaming. Huge stadium. Let's see. Sorry, what's unnecessary? I missed a little bit of context. Hello, the pro gamer plays Roblox. Is that Mr. President, aka Magic? Is that Magic? Because it looks like your avatar. Maybe it might be Magic. So let's see. Brock says, would you be able to display an image of each student on the stage? That's a common practice. Oh, displaying an image. So displaying an image in Roblox, that's a oof. Because in order to do that, this is how we would have to do it. We'd have to upload the image as a decal to Roblox. Okay. And then put it in the game files. And I can't do that for every single school, you know? That's just a no-no. That's not something we can do. But they could do it for they could do it for the Zoom. They could show the images if they want to. And then they could have and then they could have them walking on the stage too, you know. This is very, very small. This is very tight. So this is not this is nothing near the scale what we're talking about. Of course, with this detail on the chairs, so I have to really think about optimization, because this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This has 6 parts, which is pretty good. I could make it 1. Well, it actually has 8, but I could make this and this the same part. So then that's 1, 2, because that's a solid piece, and then 3, 4, and then there's the cushion 5, and then the back 6. So if I make that 6 parts, and I make the meshes so that they are optimized, then that is much more highly optimized. There's actually a really easy way to do this in Blender. The way you do it is you make the shape that you want in Roblox Studio with the union, and then you export just that part, and you import it as an OBJ into Blender, and then you select all of the pieces of it, and you press Control J, I think. It's for join. Control J for join. I'm pretty sure that's what does it, and it gets rid of all of the geometry inside the mesh. And that way it's optimized, and then you export it again, and then you've got an optimized mesh, and then there's not a union which has to calculate. Every time you run the game, your unions have to be calculated. Right? It doesn't save them when you close the server. Luckily, they're the same. I don't actually know if it saves on memory, if it's calculating the same mesh. I don't know if it has to calculate the same thing every time, because potentially they could be different. With something in Blender, like an array modifier, where it's literally cloning the same part, like I could do these chairs with an array. Basically, what it does is it takes, let's say there's 1 chair, and then I say clone it 9 more times, so there's a total of 10, and then give it a little bit of a curve, and then the computer just generates this visually, but it's not actually there in a way. So then that's more optimized because the computer knows that it's the same thing. But in this case, they're individual objects, and the computer doesn't know that they're supposed to all be the same thing, so it has to calculate every single one, I'm guessing. Would you be able to display? Okay, I already read that. Yeah, as they walk up, it'll show the avatar. It'll show the avatar of the person. We could also have name tags. That might be a thing, like name tags, and the players, the students would have to sign this themselves, and they would have to do it correctly, but assign it with their first and last name. And hopefully the Roblox filter system wouldn't filter their last names. That would be kind of sad. But chances are it's going to filter somebody's last name, and then some parent is going to be mad. But they won't be mad at me, right? Because I'm just providing this experience, and I guess I can be available for consulting, but I don't want to spend a lot of time Actually, but I would be really flattered if tons of schools used my system, and I would be willing to improve it and add mechanics and stuff. And then if we get any revenue from it, just because there's players playing it, not because we're charging for anything, um, then I would share that revenue with scripters and anybody who helped. Um, that way, it's fair. All right. Of the 3 people watching, should should I start building this? I don't know if I want to actually, because building streams are forever. I don't see. I've been avoiding building. I just haven't felt really inspired. I built this like a month ago, I think. I haven't really felt inspired to build anything. I really need to work on posing. I really need to help my staff get show if your creation's going. But I really want to do this. I want to know that. Hey, why don't you guys do me a favor? And anyone watching the replay for any reason, tell me. Talk to your school directors and let them know that this is an opportunity that may become available. I'm really good at building. I can make some really high quality stuff that's above this quality. Show them the end of this. Show them this clip, okay? Show them the beginning and then show them this. Show them the end. So I can make something that's way more higher quality than this. This is just a theater. This isn't the style that everything else will be. I'm using reference, like graduation hall reference. And I can make any of this kind of stuff. I'm gonna have multiple halls available, but I just want like school people to contact me. If you can contact me on Discord, DM me on Twitter. I will read the comments on this stream. I could give out my email to select people, and contact me and let me know that this will be useful for you, because I will spend time and make this game where you can have a virtual graduation for your students, large or small, probably up to 500, we were thinking. But I want to know that this is going to be valuable for people, and if it is, then I will spend time and make this. But guys, go contact your, just like bring this to your school counselors and directors and anyone that you can ask about this. Just pitch this idea to them and explain it in a way that is actually going to make sense to them. Because a lot of them might say no at first, but like explain like the situation, like, well, we're in a pandemic and everything's online, and if we can't have a physical event, this could be a way to have a semi-physical event where we can have kind of a 3D physical environment. And the lighting in Roblox is getting a lot better, and I'm going to make better lighting than this. I'm probably going to add some environmental stuff, but I'm also going to test it and make sure it's optimized for mobile. But please have them contact me. So I'm not going to build it on this stream because I just don't feel very inspired right now, and I don't want to build unless I'm on a roll. But yeah, let them know, have them contact me, or at least you contact me and say, well, this is what my school counselor said. That the way I can know that this is, between everything else that I'm doing, this just kind of came up. But I do want to spend time on it because I want to help people. I want to create an opportunity. This is also crazy. This is an opportunity that this has never been available on the face of the earth, to have professional teachers and principals play Roblox. That's kind of funny, right? It's actually awesome. This is an opportunity I could have not foreseen before all of the lockdown and stuff happened. Like if you ask me, hey, what if we had a graduation on Roblox? I'd be like, what? You're insane. But seriously, like, this is actually a thing. This is actually a thing that can happen, and I'm not just making this up. I saw a post on Twitter that somebody said their school was graduating on Roblox. I don't know what happened with that, but it's possible. And I can build stuff that's this detailed. I could even take requests for building. I would need to be paid for specific requests, but I'm going to provide a free, at least like 12 locations, a free system for any school to come on. And like, imagine your event hosting is free. Most of the time, if it's not at their school, they have to pay to host an event somewhere. Like if they have to go to a stadium. So graduation. This looks interesting. Graduation ceremony during COVID. It's just like a ghost town. There's just pictures in the seats. What in the world? All right, well, I'm going to end the stream. If you end up showing this clip to your school counselors, I don't want to take up their whole day. So, thank you guys for being my friends and watching my stream. That's really cute. Oh wait, there's some more comments I should probably answer before I go. Would you be able to display? Oh, I already asked that one. You can bypass the filter by setting the name tag to exactly what the player typed in instead of running the name through the Roblox filter system. That's beyond me with scripting, but that's great that that's possible. I want them to be able to type their actual name and not have it filtered. But if one of the players decides to put something nasty, you could be at fault. Well, I will have a disclaimer that I'm not at fault for anything, because that's too much to manage if a bunch of schools are using this and then they contact Mr. Kamsaki and be like, my student did this, and I'm like, no, I can't be responsible for that. Anyway, yeah, all right, peace. Yeah, dude. It doesn't auto filter. The filter system is specific service you have to call. Oh, but so you can display text, but then your game might be flagged as inappropriate if there's a system that doesn't have filters. Well, sounds useful. So thank you everybody for joining and giving me your input. I would appreciate DMs if you have more input. Anyone watching the replay, give me your input. This is something I'm really considering doing. It needs to happen before May. There is a serious time limit on this. It is the end of February. I want to get the awareness about this spread around, and the best way to do that is for kids, my audience, who are kids or high school students, or even college students. I don't know. It might be harder with a college, but for you to talk to your school staff about this and get their input on it, let them know this is something that could be possible, and that is the best way for this to happen. Okay. So let me end this in OBS. I have a hotkey for that, so I'm going to end it in OBS so that it doesn't cut off the end of the stream. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.